Do the Browns lose in free agency if they don't land a big name defensive end? Mary Kay, we'll start with you.
I'm going to say yes. I am going to say yes because I really think they need to get one of these guys. It is the perfect year to be able to do it. I've never seen the market flooded with this many edge rushers in 1 year. And you have some at different price points. You've got different ages. You've got different skill sets. It's kind of like a little smorgasbord of edge rushers. But you usually don't see these kind of guys available on the market. So I do think that they need to land one of them. And not only are there two in the division that you could pry away from a rival, but there are actually three. You've got Bud Dupree from the Steelers, very intriguing. You've got Carl Lawson from the Bengals, equally intriguing. And then you've got Yannick Ngakoue from the Ravens, who they tried to trade for last year when he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He wanted to play here. They wanted him, but it kind of got messed up when he was switching agents in the middle of it. And it just kind of was dragging on and got a little nutty. And so everybody just kind of put that on the back burner. And he ended up initially getting traded to the Vikings. And then he got traded to the Ravens. He ended up with 8 sacks. And he really didn't have the impact in Baltimore that I thought he would. I think he can have even more of an impact here. He's still young. I like the idea of kind of getting those guys in that 25-year-old, 26-year-old range. So he's still a young guy. I think he has double-digit sack potential. And if you paired him or put him opposite a Myles Garrett, I could see that happening. But I could see that happening for a number of these guys, Carl Lawson, Bud Dupree. You also have Hassan Reddick from the Arizona Cardinals, who became expendable when J.J. Watt signed there. So these are just some of the names that are going to be available potentially. And I think the Browns have to grab one because I certainly don't see them taking one at number 26 overall. I don't think you're going to be able to get a great pass rusher there.
Yeah, a lot of curious stuff going on in the AFC North at edge rusher. Mary Kay laid out those three. I understand the Bud Dupree thing. I was surprised to see the Bengals not tag either Carl Lawson or William Jackson, their cornerback. And then the Ravens, both Yannick Ngakoue and Matt Judon are headed towards free agency. Both their edge rushers there. I think Yannick has a better fit in Cleveland, like you laid out. Scott, with all the wasteland that could be the AFC North with these defensive players, are the Browns both missing an opportunity if they don't steal one of these key guys and both take from an opponent and add it to the team? Is that a missed opportunity?
I mean, look, even if they don't sign somebody like a Carl Lawson or Bud Dupree, they could still end up signing with somebody else other than the team they're with. So I think It's more important that they just get somebody, because I think you're both right. The amount of talent on the market is rare. And I think not coming away with an edge rusher would be like coming away from the draft last year without an offensive lineman for the Browns. I think I put Carl Lawson as the kind of the big splash free agent the Browns should sign in my post this week or last week. And it really comes down to not so much him, but just getting somebody at edge rusher. And I'm kind of taking my cue from the Browns because they're not making moves to bring back Olivier Vernon, obviously. They've released Adrian Claiborne. What else you got? You got Porter Gustin, who you tendered, and he's certainly not the answer opposite Myles Garrett. Joe Jackson, who, he played a handful of snaps. He's not the guy. So clearly they need to make an impact acquisition here at edge rusher. And I think you do that in free agency. You don't go to the draft with such a big hole on your defense. And Joe Woods' defense needs a big player opposite Myles Garrett, because this team did not get the kind of pressure that they wanted to last year. His defense is rush 4, defend with the back 7. And that's pretty much the formula the 49ers used when he was the pass game coordinator there. And it worked great because the Niners had some scary people up front, and they didn't blitz. They were near the bottom of the league in the amount of blitzes they had in 2019, and that's what the Browns were last season. But the big difference, of course, is they just didn't get the pressure the Niners got. So fixing things up front is, I think, priority number 1. And Carl Lawson, I think, would be a good way to do that.
Yeah, it's a gaping hole, and I'm glad you brought that up. But Mary Kay, it seems like and to Scott's point, that the Browns are in a position to do exactly what they did last year during free agency on the offensive side of the ball, but only for Joe Woods in the defense this year. Does it have that feeling to you? Like, should Browns fans expect, might be strong, but would you be surprised if Andrew Berry doesn't give Joe Woods some of the toys that he awarded Kevin Stefanski, like Jack Conklin and Austin Hooper a year ago, for his defense now?
Yeah, I fully expect him to supply him with a good edge rusher. And again, I don't know what your other alternative would be unless you tried to trade for one. And I just don't see that happening. I think this is the moment they're going to have to strike. They just have to figure out which one it is going to be. And, there could be, kind of a bidding war for some of these guys. And I think it's going to happen fast. I think the dominoes will fall fairly quickly on all these edge rushers. It'll be one of the first things that starts to happen on Monday and Tuesday, is we will really start to see what these guys are going to be getting and who they're going to be signing with. And one by one, they are going to just go flying off the market, because it is so hard to find guys that can get to the quarterback on a consistent basis. Now, one of the things that I like about Hassan Reddick, that in addition to his 12.5 sacks, and 5 of those came against the Giants in one game, but he also led the league with 6 forced fumbles. And I like that kind of game-changing production from a player. That's so vitally important. And sometimes I think almost a little overlooked. If you can get the ball away from the other team, that's important. And he's really good at that. So, he's another one that's intriguing. Trey Hendrickson is intriguing. In his first year as a starter with the Saints last year, he had 12.5 sacks. That was more than Myles Garrett. It's a lot of sacks, right? So, and again, Myles only played 14 games, but I like him. I like Reddick. You mentioned Judon too. He's another very intriguing guy. And then Jadeveon Clowney is somebody that's still going to be floating around out there. We know they liked him last year. They liked him a lot. And if they can get him at a very bargain basement price, I think he's somebody that is definitely going to be on the radar.